I think I saw on the Breakfast Club where Lauren LaRosa was talking about how Alexis had actually been trying to get on the show for a while. Like after the thing happened with the Super Bowl, he had been trying multiple times. His team was trying to get him on First Take.
All right, Samari, I want to talk about somebody that is the pinnacle of our profession in this day and age. And I'm talking about Stephen A. Smith. Now, over the last week, Stephen A. has said a number of different things that have kind of rubbed me the wrong way. And a lot of people are kicking his ass all over social media. What he said most recently about the greatest tennis player of all time, well, more so her husband, really kind of bothered me. So a while back during the Super Bowl, Serena obviously crip walked when Kendrick Lamar came out, did all the things. And Stephen A. had some things to say about her doing that. Yo, if that was my wife, I wouldn't allow her to celebrate the demise of her ex and all of that. Just talking about what he would do if he was her man. He can't even get a sniff of her wig. But Serena's husband, Alexis, and I ain't gonna butcher his last name, but Serena's husband, Alexis, happened to be on First Take this week and kind of called him to the carpet like, yo, do you have any more advice for me as a married man since you're so unwed? Maybe you want to give me some more. And he broke him down real spicy. Like it was very Caucasian passive aggressive. And I enjoyed it a little bit because that kind of energy is something that Stephen A. Smith never seems to match. So I want to talk about the overall brand of Stephen A. Smith, where he is, where he's going, and why he is seeming to get under so many people's skin these days. You're obviously in a profession, the consummate professional. What are your thoughts on where Stephen A. is right now?
I thought that the whole situation between him and Alexis was funny because after he was on the show, I think I saw on the Breakfast Club where Lauren LaRosa was talking about how Alexis had actually been trying to get on the show for a while. Like after the thing happened with the Super Bowl, he had been trying multiple times. His team was trying to get him on First Take. And he's like, hey, like I own several sports teams. I have Athlos that just came out, the new track and field league, which looks so cool, by the way. Like they were really giving, they didn't give the women their flowers, but they gave them like Tiffany's crowns. It gave me all the things that I needed. But yes, so Alexis had been trying to get on First Take and they kept just, no, you can't come on this week. You can't come on this week. And then the one time that they do allow him to come on, Stephen A. just happens to be remote from Atlanta that particular day. And he wanted to, according to Alexis, he wanted to confront Stephen A. face to face, but was not given the opportunity to do so. So that's why we see this now famous moment where he's like, do you have any marital advice for me? And Stephen A. like, which is crazy because we never see him lost for words. We don't ever see him lost for words, stumbling like that. But I think that Stephen A. really has to kind of take a moment he got to just dial it back a little bit because.
Which part?
Everything. Like, I just feel like I think that we've had this conversation before on this platform about how he wants a shock factor. He says things to get people riled up, and then he always has to walk it back. And at a certain point, it's like people are just like, are we really listening to you for your knowledge or whatever intellect that you have, or are we subconsciously just being
something.
waiting for you to say something that is going to upset us? Because that is literally what you do. You do that in everything. Like I literally just saw on ESPN where Stephen A. was talking about Aaron Glenn and how he's horrible. And I know he's going to have to walk that back. That's the coach for the New York Jets. It's just like he just says stuff for entertainment factor now. It's not really him being an analyst.
Stephen A. Smith, he created an entire new lane in the sports media landscape and changed sports media forever. So I can't ever take away from his legacy. But he can certainly do that himself. And the way that he has positioned himself in a number of different issues, usually centered around race, maybe intentionally or unintentionally, has really created some questions in my mind about the God that he serves. And when I say that, of course, I'm talking about the business, not his actual Lord and Savior. There is a consistent amount of flair, pizzazz, harshness for Black people. And there's a consistent level of care and thoughtfulness and caution when approaching issues with white people outside of Max Kellerman. And beyond that, I can say that it also feels like at times he has additional energy for women and seldom ever has anything he never says, yo, I mean no disrespect to women. Like yesterday when he was talking about Alexis, right? When he decided to respond out of ego because he saw people on the internet talking about him and making him feel like he was small and he was weak, right? So he felt like, oh, I gotta show people that I'm a real one. And he goes on to say, like, I meant no disrespect to Alexis when I was talking about his wife, but the person that you actually disrespected was Serena Williams. And you didn't say anything in regards to that. You didn't issue an apology to Serena, but you apologized to her husband. And I don't know where he was raised, how he was raised. I don't know the exact era that he comes from. I have a gut feeling because I'm from Jersey and he's from New York. And so I know how that next generation tends to carry certain things. They have very antiquated views on life in general, from my perspective. And at times it feels like Stephen A. Smith is just stuck in the late 80s, early 90s in his approach to conversations around the progress and the freedom of people that haven't always been able to exist in their full power. I'll just say that was very well done. You dig what I'm saying? And he'll hide behind this blockade of women that have been on First Take. He said, well, they wouldn't be up here if I didn't want them up here. And even that is rooted in ego. There's a consistent theme going on here, man. And he has this new show, Straight Shooter, with Stephen A. Smith, and it's a lot of dog whistling to a certain demographic. And I can see it. I feel it. I feel him getting ready to pivot into something a lot more egregious than we've even seen so far. And I'm gonna shut up for a second so I can keep going.
No, I mean, that is a question that I want us to kind of tap into. Why does it seem like a lot of people in sports are making that pivot? Because Paul Feinbaum is making a pivot. He's come out and said that he wants to run for Senate, run for the Republican Senate seat, I think out of Alabama, if I'm not mistaken. But it just seems like that's something that we've seen. We talked about Bruce Pearl a lot on this show. What is that?
There's a pipeline, because sports is one of the most influential spaces that you can exist in. And so when you build a fan base, when you build an audience in sports, it really can be far reaching, especially when you've had a certain platform, a certain level of access. And politics right now is a popularity contest. So it is a real seamless transition to take my audience from this place who trust me, and traditional sports fans are a specific and particular kind of group. It's very easy to lead them into this next conversation about politics, because outside of sports, politics and country and God and all the things that they care so much about. So I think it's a natural transition. Mm-hmm. It's like the girls who go from bottle girl to real estate agent. Oh yeah, if you work bottle service in the club as a woman, you end up selling real estate. Y'all know that?
No, I've never heard that before.
Oh my God. Yeah. If you're a bottle girl, you definitely transition into real estate agent. Like because you've been around, you've had access to the people with money, the people who are liquid. And so you're in your head, you're like, okay, well, they spend all this money on bottles. I can probably get them to be smarter about their money and tell them how they can buy property and generate wealth. This is a real thing. You ain't know this?
No.
Oh, wow.
But yes, we have seen Stephen A. And his dog whistles. We've seen him say things about who he voted for and why he wouldn't have voted for particular people.
Jasmine Crockett. We heard what he said about Jasmine Crockett this week.
Oh, I mean, he's said a lot of things about Jasmine Crockett that I'm like, I don't even want to listen to you ever again, because it just seems like you mentioned, he has a lot of heat for certain people and not a lot of heat for others. And I didn't really like that. But anyways, you all drop down in the comments and you let us know your thoughts on Stephen A. Smith and the direction that his career is going. Do you like it? Is it kind of a head scratcher like it is to me? I don't know about Rodney, but we want to hear from you down below.
Yeah, not a head scratcher so much, just frustrating to see.
I think it's a head scratcher because it's just like, I don't think that I saw that when he first came.
It checks out. He's just...
Does it? It does?
He's not. He's not a liberal, and I think that a lot of times when we see Black people, we inherently think that they're liberal, and he's just more conservative leaning, and that's okay. You can do that. It's just that when you bring your conservative views into sports, that it gets a little tricky for me. But in addition to this conversation, I also want you guys to tap into our newsletter, man. The link is in the bio. We have amazing stories about all things going on in the world of sports, in addition to some previous videos that we recorded that maybe, you might be a little interested in, man. But tap in. We got a good thing going here. You feel me? Shout out to North Carolina A&T State University, Aggie Pride. We do that all day. You dig what I'm saying? I'm Aggie'd out today. I didn't make it to homecoming, but I'm representing.